Whoever you're looking for, it's not me.
John! Flash!
No. Hi.
I love you!
I completely broke the universe.
This is mad trippy.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Wait, he's Batman?
What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich. Hey, where's yours?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm, of course, your host, Mega Mike the Movie Man. We are here with the Flash post-game show where we're basically going to recap the entire movie. So it's going to be a great discussion with some awesome panel members. So spoiler warning in effect here. If you have not yet seen the movie, what I would recommend is go first watch the pregame show we did about a week ago. Then go watch the movie, of course, because it's great. And then, of course, come back for the post-game show on the replay. That's just my recommendation. Unless you don't care about spoilers, then stay and we'll have a good time talking all those spoilers for you all. But like I said, I'm not here alone. I'm going to bring everybody out. So let's go ahead and bring out Superman himself. Got Benny in the house.
How's it going, everyone? It's Benny. I'm doing good. Ready for this post game. I got that S on my chest. Stands for Super Post Game Show. Let's get it going.
I know, and you were totally the Flash today because you just saw the movie right before this stream. Tell the audience how that went down because we were a little worried that you were maybe not going to make it, but you are here. So recap that story for everyone.
So with what time I got off of work, I was looking for show times, and I was like, okay, I get off work in a couple of hours. The next show time's an hour after I get off. If I watch that one with the 2.5 hour movie, I'm not going to be able to make the stream. It'll be like 6 something. I have to rush home, change shirts, do all this. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave work early. I know what's more important. So I left work a little bit more early, and I was able to catch the movie and make it home and change, fix my new hair. Perfect. Superman speed, Flash speed, boom.
See, now
I didn't have to run back in time.
Priorities right there. So good on you, Betty. All right, let's go ahead and bring out our other panel members. We got Jesse in the house.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm doing good. What are you rocking today? What is that? Catwoman
Yeah. Back 2018, I went to Comic-Con. Yes, I have Catwoman right here.
Nice. See, you had Batman before. You have Catwoman tonight.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. So that's
got the Joker back there. He's hanging out too.
You with the Easter eggs. See, you always gotta have the Easter eggs. That is awesome. And then let's of course bring in Tracy, Nerdy Film Girl. How we doing out there?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing good, I'm sure. And you look like you're in a dark cave right now. Like you're in
I know. I don't know why I keep looking so dark because I'm using my Sony camera and I don't know what's been going on. Let me see if I can make it a little bit brighter because it's not this dark in my apartment. Maybe can you see me better at least now?
That's a little bit better. We'll roll with it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No
sorry
worries.
about that, guys. It's technical difficulties.
You're all good. We can hear you, so that's totally fine. Yes. So, Tracy, when did you see this movie again?
I saw it on Thursday night at 9 p.m. in IMAX.
There you go. So you had the earliest showing out of all of us. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so let's check in to the audience here, see who is live with us tonight. We, of course, got Adrian James in the house. Hi there, Mike. Hello, Adrian. We got Lance Jackson here. Hey, what's up, Mike? And everybody, lights, camera, action. Let's smash that like button. And you know what? That was such a great reminder, Lance. Let me bring up the banner here. Go ahead and speed kick that subscribe and like. Jolt the panel with those, of course, super chats, and race to those mega memberships for exclusive content and perks, and also new Collectors Club merch available on the channel store. So let's get right back into these comments, see who else is here tonight. We got Craig. Hi, Mike and guest. We got Movie Fan 91. Hey, Mike. I absolutely love The Flash. All in caps right there. You can tell. That's true love right there. The Flash. Movie Fan 91, Huck knows. Laugh out loud. Lance Jackson. I also love The Flash 2 and the TV show. Well, which TV show? The classic 90s one or the more recent Grant Gustin one? So you got to be specific there.
Grant Gustin.
Darvin saying, hey, Darvin. Movie Fan 91. The top 3 fave DCEU movies are Wonder Woman, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and Birds of Prey Harley Quinn. Hot take on that last one, but I love it, Movie Fan 91. That's how we do it. Darvin saying, I know I'll be the odd one out, but I honestly thought The Flash is the worst DC film. I'm usually okay with DC stuff, but The Flash just felt like a dumpster fire. Woo, wow, these are going to be some fun conversations tonight. Greg saying, Flash movie reminded me of Spider-Man movie with Doctor Strange multi-universe copycat. Well, it is a multiverse movie, so is Across the Spider-Verse a copycat as well? That is the question. Yes, Movie Fan 91 had a great day off from work today. Oh, nice. Glad you can join here. Edward saying, hi, guys. Hope you're all looking forward to the stream as always. Well, welcome, Edward. Is this my first time seeing Edward on the channel? Maybe. But if so, welcome. And then Movie Fan 91 said, The Flash is in my top 5. See, some people love it. Some people not so much. So now we're going to have to get into our thoughts on this one. So our first question, because this gets right into our first question here. How did this movie compare to the other Flash projects for you in general? So, you know what? Let me actually go, because we have a couple other people here tonight in spirit, not physically, but I do have answers from Ben Buster and Huck as well.
Cool.
They did join us on the live stream. So let me start off with reading Ben Buster's answer, and then we'll go right over to Benny. So Ben Buster says, I felt like the Flash... Barry realizing what he can do, does it, and realizes that it isn't better. That's a direct quote from Ben Buster. So I don't know if that means he liked it or didn't like it. We'll have to interpret that later. But Benny, your thoughts on this one?
Okay, how did this movie compare to the other Flash projects? Okay, so I enjoyed it. When I first heard that Ezra Miller, no, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Was going to be the Flash, I was a little skeptical. I'm not a huge fan of him, so I was like, this is like years ago when I heard he was going to be Flash. He's been growing on me over the years, so I'm like, okay, it's not bad. I enjoyed the movie, but compared to the other Flash projects, I think I like Grant Gustin's Flash better. I enjoyed the series, maybe because it was able to flesh out the character more and show how he gets to like upgrade himself with powers wise. This movie was more quick paced, so it just shows him doing things rather than learning things, if that makes sense. Like when he did the tornado and some of the other moves. So
you already know
this
how
one's
to do
kind
that,
of
right? He didn't go through a learning process. I get what you're saying.
Exactly, yes. So that's why I think I like the Grant one Flash better, because he goes through a learning process and he learns how to be a better Flash. That's my take, but still a good movie.
And then Jesse, what did you think of this one?
So as the movie in general, I thought it was somewhere in between okay and good, but I'll explain that later on. But I really, really, really do like Ezra Miller as the Flash. I haven't seen too many other Flash projects, just a little of the TV show. But as far as, like him portraying the Flash in like the Justice League and then seeing it in this movie, I thought he did a great job of still keeping that same persona going. I thought he was really funny at times. Sometimes he did have like some serious moments, and I felt like those came through really good too. So I really enjoy seeing him as the Flash, and I would hope to see him continue being the Flash too.
All right, and over to Tracy. What do you think?
I think it's a good movie. I do think it's being overblown on both the negative and the positive on both sides, because of what it claimed itself to be. I think that was a detriment to how people feel. I don't think it's the greatest superhero movie ever made, but I certainly would not call it a bad film at all. And I had a great time at the theater. I do think that Ezra Miller did a great job as the Flash. I have not seen the CW show. I feel like I've only had any introduction to the Flash by watching Smallville like a long time ago. I did watch the Flashpoint Paradox animated film the day of, which I enjoyed. But I the story is great. It's just the animation is, you know, not necessarily the best, obviously, because those movies don't necessarily have the best animation. But yeah, I had a great time at the theater. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, for me, I'm gonna have to go with I do prefer the Flashpoint Paradox animated movie you were just mentioning, Tracy. I think this is a much better story, and we kind of got promised this with the trailers of the new movie, but they kind of half did Flashpoint Paradox. There was a lot of things left out of it, which I was kind of disappointed on. I still think the first season of the Flash CW show was a lot better, just because we were able to flush out a little bit more stuff with Reverse Flash and all that. In terms of the other projects, though, I think Ezra Miller is better in this movie than the other Justice League movies we've had Ezra in. He got more stuff to do in here. Definitely more time to develop as a character. Also play off himself, basically, which was really cool to see. So I think Ezra did pretty good with that. So overall, I'm in the middle with this one. I'm in the middle in terms of Flash projects. Don't think it's the greatest one of all time. Definitely not a dumpster fire for me, though. It's definitely in that middle range for sure. But let's go ahead and check out Huck's comments here, because I know Huck sent me his comments. So for the first question, and Huck does go into some good details. He says it held up just fine. A lot of great cameos to keep you entertained as well. The Flash FX were great. I think I may like Grant Gustin's take better once it's all settled in. So another fan of Grant Gustin, apparently. And I never was really a big Ezra fan myself, just from other projects I've seen, like the Fantastic Beasts movies. Ezra did not win me over in those movies. But once again, I think Ezra has gotten better in terms of acting performances. And I think The Flash grew on me a little bit more in this movie. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at some comments here before we move on. Darvin saying, I think some of my distaste for the film is because of how bad the show is. The show has some generally terrible action scenes. Oh my goodness, Darvin, you are not a Flash fan here. Not even the show won you over. Oh goodness. But I could see that with the show being, you know, more lower budget than say a movie. Maybe doesn't look good as one might expect. I get that. Lance saying I felt like the one with Daniela Panabaker. Did I totally say that name wrong? Which one is that?
No, I think that's how you pronounce it. That's the show.
That's the show, right? The CW, right?
Yeah, she plays the doctor.
Oh, what's her name? I forgot her name. But she turns into Killer Frost, right?
She turns into Frost, yes. Caitlin Snow.
There we go.
That's her name.
There we go. Yeah. Darvin saying Barry just has to carry on a conversation with the person he's fighting instead of actually fighting them. Okay. Darvin says it wouldn't be a problem if the conversation settled any purpose, but they don't. It mainly just pads out the runtime for the sake of padding out the run. Oh my gosh, Darvin. I'm sorry, Darvin. You did not like this movie.
Wow.
Craig says too many trailer spoilers. Yeah, that's an issue with trailers these days. We get a lot revealed in there for sure. Adrian saying hello to everyone again. We got Movie Fan 91. The Flash with Grant Gustin. I tried but didn't like the actor as a character. I preferred a Supergirl with Melissa. I'm totally gonna say that last name wrong. Who knows how to say that last name? Anybody?
I think it's Benoist.
Okay.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I could be wrong though.
Yeah, Supergirl's a highlight. Can the Flash exist in the DC Elseworlds outside the DCU now? They could if it made money. It did not, so no, it won't. Simple as that. But yeah, let's go into our next question because that segues.
I could see him doing a cameo.
Oh yeah,
and slowly introducing him back in. You know. Because it's not like it's it's not like everyone's saying the movie sucks. I mean, there are people that say that, but you know what I mean. So I think James Gunn likes him a lot. I think that everyone he's worked with likes him a lot, director involved, and I think they want to try to see what they can do here and there. So small cameos would make sense to me.
Yeah, definitely cameos.
Yeah, that's fair.
In return for sure. All right, question 2. What did we think of the heroes? So I know we've been talking a lot about Ezra here, but there's a lot of other heroes too we can mention. So I'll go to Nerdy Film Girl. What do you think of all these heroes?
Sasha Kaye is such a badass. She nailed this role. I'm so sad that she will not be continuing this role because of the future of the DCU. She was phenomenal. She was strong without being like, a Mary Sue. Like she just nailed the role. The writing was great for her. And like that moment when she finds out that Clark is dead, they killed the baby version of him. It's like you just feel that so strongly. So I really loved her being in this film. I just wish we had more.
Yeah, definitely. And then let me go ahead and read off Huck's response here for this question. Huck says they all did a great job. Ezra was great as the Flash. Too bad it's most likely the last time we ever see him play the role. And Ben and Michael were fantastic as their Batmans. It was the final performance they both never got. Also, Supergirl looked great, and her performance was very good. So Huck was also a fan of Supergirl. Benny, I'm guessing you were a fan as well.
I definitely was. I liked her suit. It was great, but like the acting, and she was a straight badass. I'll agree with that. She just came in strong like Superman was. When they showed her all frail like they did Flashpoint, and then bam, she grew all strong. Bam, bam, beat up all those guards. That was awesome. Then the Batman, all of them that were in it were also great. The short time that they had for like the other superheroes in general were well done. Like I wish they had more Supergirl. Wish they had more both Batman. They were all great. Like I said, we already agreed that the Flash was good. I thought, like I said, it could have been better, but the rest of them were great.
And then Jesse, what do you think of our heroes?
I thought the heroes were great. For Ezra Miller, he did a great job as the Flash once again. I love that we got to see him play his younger self too, just because it felt like the same character still, just different ages, and that's the way that it needed to be. So I thought that was great. I was excited to see Michael Keaton again as Batman, but I really do think my favorite hero was Supergirl, just because she was so strong and she had such a dark story too. And even the way Betty just described her, like when you first see her, she looks sickly, but then she gets so much stronger. And I felt like there was a range to her character, and I really do wish that I could like just get a movie of her character, just because I thought she was so interesting.
Yeah, I will definitely second that for sure. Yeah, Supergirl was my favorite. And I thought Supergirl was going to be my least favorite just because I'm so used to the traditional Flashpoint paradox story with having Superman there. But they gave us Supergirl, but Supergirl actress did a fantastic job. The Batman were good as well. Michael Keaton kind of threw me off a little bit at the beginning, though, being a recluse, retired Batman, I guess you could say. That was a little odd at the beginning, but then he gets back into Batman mode. He's like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And then I pulled on him again. So he did a good job as well, especially in the Zod fight scenes. I thought that was really cool. And then, Ezra.
Yeah, that was cool.
Ezra playing off Ezra. That's tough to do for, any acting talent to kind of go against themselves, opposite themselves. And I think Ezra did a really good job with that. They seemed like the same person, but also different. Like you said, different time periods. One was younger, and to do that was pretty impressive. So hats off to Ezra on that one for sure. Let's go ahead and check into these comments again. Let's see. Maxfield Applegate says, can the Flash... Oh, we already did mention that. Yeah, definitely a possibility with that one. But we'll see. Movie Fan 91 says, any of you guys get some cool swag from seeing the movie? I got a free IMAX poster. Nice. See, when I went, the posters were already gone. So I didn't get no poster. I did get the popcorn bucket and cup, but they weren't really good ones. Like they used to do like still really nice ones. Like I have a really nice Shazam 2 one. The Flash, it was just like a cheap little plastic one. I'm like, wasn't that great, but I still got it. How about you all? Did you guys get any cool Flash stuff or anything?
I got a little poster. I'm gonna grab it real quick because I saw
yeah.
IMAX too. So 1 second.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Movie fan 91 also says Sasha Callie is my second favorite Supergirl. Keaton is a legend as Bats. Yeah, he did a solid job.
That's true.
For sure.
Yep.
And you know what?
I really liked how his plane, like when the plane would spin, his what's it called seat would just stay still and the whole plane would shoot around him. I thought that was a nice touch. I've never seen that.
Oh yeah, that was definitely really cool. All right, we got the poster right there, Tracy.
Yes, yes.
I'm gonna zoom in on that one actually.
Hey, that's cool.
Zoom in on that.
So it says The Flash,
Um,
only in theaters, and IMAX. And Supergirl's at the top here, so that's cool. So, yeah, they just asked when we were checking in. They're like, "Do you want posters?" And we're like, "Sure." Yeah, why not?
Dude, that's a good theater right there. My theater, it's like you have to go on a scavenger hunt. Ask any of the employees there. So
Yeah, and I wanted to say something to add on to both of you what you were saying about Ezra's performance and the younger version. I think it shows you too, like, yes, the younger version was like kind of stupid and kind of like that stoner persona, but it really shows you the effect of having the death of a parent, and that like anyone that goes through like some type of trauma when they're younger, they kind of mature a lot faster. So for someone like that person, he was kind of like willy-nilly going through life like everything's great, whereas I think they showed that really well. Whereas the Barry we're familiar with is he was goofy in the Snyderverse, but he's kind of become a lot more mature, and again, it shows you he had the loss of a parent. So I liked how they did that.
oh yeah, that's a great point. That's smart writing right there too.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, let's see these comments here. We got movie fan 91 saying Tracy has the same poster I got. Dude who loves movies. What's up, everyone? What's up, dude who loves movies? Don't forget to roundhouse kick that like button. Oh, thank you so much, dude. Craig saying, if you ever seen The Time Machine 99, you can't change the past going back in time. That's actually a great movie. I need to watch that one again. Let's see. Huck is in the chat.
Yes.
Hey, flashy people. Can't stay, but I just got to Orlando and wanted to say hello. Well, thank you, Huck, for stopping by, and enjoy your vacation. Have fun at Disney World for all of us. All right,
Huck's like the perfect person to go to Disney World with, by the way. I feel like he would be so much fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. He'll be able to do all the voices too and act out the characters and the scenes. That'd be great. All right. So now we got to look at the flip side of this. What did we think of the villains? Let's start with Jesse on this one. What did you think of the villains here?
Well, I did like the heroes a lot more. We got to see Zod again. But the one that stuck out more to me, honestly, was like the evil old Flash that he meets later on. I thought that, for me, that was kind of surprising. But I feel like it kind of like slowly led up to it, which was cool because I felt like I was able to piece it together. Like the first time they went through and then the young Flash got like a shard in him. It was like, okay, that's interesting. But when he got the second one, I was like, oh, it's building up. And it started to make me think like, okay, well, the other old Flash, it looked like he was wearing just like jagged armor, but this kind of looks like a similar texture. So I thought he was really interesting just because I wasn't expecting that. So I thought that one is kind of cool.
All right, I got to read Ben Buster's response to this question because it was hilarious. So the question is, what did you think of the villains? Which one? Zoe felt like a throwaway villain, and Barry being the other one wasn't a surprise. I'm guessing he meant Zod, but I had to say Zoe because that's what it says here. So, but that was so funny. Just, which one? What do you mean there was a villain? Tracy, what do you think of the villains? Did you even think there were villains?
One of my biggest selling points of seeing this movie was to see Michael Shannon as General Zod again, and they did nothing with him, and I was really disappointed. And it was just him with a CGI mask on, and he was so powerful in Man of Steel. Phenomenal portrayal of Zod, and we didn't get anything like that this time, and that's like literally my biggest critique of the movie. I did like the whole Dark Flash or older version of the younger Flash. I do think if they had, I didn't know it was still portrayed by Ezra Miller. I thought it was a different actor, so I felt like they could have made him look a little bit more similar to Ezra Miller, because it was a lot of CGI and stuff and aging that I just didn't feel any sympathy. And I felt like that really would have packed a punch in the audience, seeing both the other Flash sacrifice himself and killing his future self. That could have been like a lot more emotional when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And over to you, Benny. What do you think?
I agree. The villains were like the weakest part of the movie for me. I feel Michael Shannon is a great actor, and I feel like they kind of just wasted his Zod. I was hoping to come back a little bit more terrifying, but no, it's kind of just a throwaway. His little sidekicks, who were really strong in Man of Steel, weren't as powerful. They were just there. The strong point was the Dark Flash. The other one that was like, I don't want to say the best villain because it wasn't really that great either in my opinion, but it was a nice little twist that they were going for. So definitely the weakest part of the film were the villains. And it shows you can be your own villain, I guess.
Yeah, Huck definitely has a response on this one, so buckle in, everybody. The villains felt non-existent to me. Having no traditional Flash villain was a disappointment. Going up against Superman's old foe was there for Supergirl, not the Flash. See, that's a good point. But that said, Supergirl was great to see in action, even though she was not destined to defeat Zod. I don't consider the other Flash going crazy as a real villain more than just an obsessed Barry Allen. Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with all of that right there. To me, this movie failed on the villains. This was ridiculous. This was where the Flash movie could have really shined, because once again, the Flash has an amazing rogues gallery. Once again, go back to the source material of the Flashpoint paradox. There's so many villains in this movie. You intro with a bunch of his rogues gallery, which is fantastic. Could have had some of those characters in there. But then also, how do you not have the Reverse Flash in the Flashpoint paradox movie you're doing? This is ridiculous. Now, I don't know if they think we assumed the Reverse Flash was there and that's who got the mom. We didn't even really get clarity on that, which was weird. It's like, okay, we know somebody off the mom, but who was it? I mean, us Flash fans maybe guess the Reverse Flash, but we have no idea. That was really weird to me. We got no explanation on that. We needed a strong Flash villain. It was set up for them perfectly. Should have used the Reverse Flash. So to me, there was no villain. I mean, Zod, he's a returning villain. So do I count that as a villain or more a cameo role? Once again, there to mostly, fight Supergirl and Batman and have that whole scenario play out. So that was really disappointing. And then just a bad Barry Allen, a bad Ezra. No, just so disappointed. That was definitely a failure on the movie's part. So, yeah. All right. Movie Fan 91 said Zod did good as usual, but yes, the evil older Flash was cool too. I thought that was George Clooney. He was the evil Flash. Hey, that might have been more interesting. I don't know. Yeah, that Flash did look a little weird with the CGI. That was throwing me off.
The CGI in general was interesting, specifically when it came to like people, like the whole baby scene. I couldn't with that. I felt like it looked a little too fake with all the babies flying everywhere. I really was hoping it was a dream. Like, I didn't want this scene to be a real scene in the movie. I wanted him to wake up from it. So that one was a little too much because of the CGI and the babies.
So I thought, because I thought about it, I'm like, why would they do the CGI so bad? Was it really they did not pay attention to it in those moments, or was it on purpose? Because if the babies did look like real babies, would people have freaked out and gotten into a panic online and been like, hey, because there's people out there that wouldn't know, like,
Yeah.
did you really use real
Yeah.
babies?
Yeah, I
Your
felt like the
baby is
babies
harmed in the making of the
they just
movie.
shouldn't have
So,
been in there.
so it was just that scene kind of threw me off. I kind of liked it though, because there was a lot of aspects, like he was eating the calories too, which was
See
really
that?
funny.
Yes.
And then he did save
Yeah.
the CGI looking babies. So, it showed a heroic moment. I'm back and forth on that scene. But
Just not with the babies.
Our question here. Yeah, what did we think of the story? So, Jesse, you wouldn't have gone with the saving the babies at all. Would we?
No.
What else would we do?
I don't know. Maybe it could have just been a bunch of dogs. That might have.
Save
That
the
I think
dogs,
that would
yeah.
have made it a little more hilarious for
Oh,
me. Just because it was babies, I was like, this is kind of a lot. And then putting the baby in the microwave too. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
get why he did it, but still.
Yeah, my
don't
wife
know.
was shocked when that happened. Like, just jaw dropped. What is
Yeah.
happening right now?
The
Yeah,
Mhm.
dogs could have worked if you just did a whole bunch of different dogs or other animals, because you can make
Yeah.
animals look pretty photorealistic. At least that's what Disney has shown with things like The Lion King. So maybe that would have been a better approach to start the story.
It's funny
I-
because,
yeah.
sorry, no, I was just going to say
Yeah.
real quick. I know James Gunn had nothing to do with this movie, really, in hindsight, if you think about it. But putting a baby in a microwave is so James Gunn. Like that
Yeah.
dark, twisted humor.
Yeah, and I can see, I get it too, because Andy Muschietti, he has his horror roots, with directing it movies and whatnot. So I could see Andy Muschietti wanting to go that direction too. So yeah, still surprised me just a little bit, but hey, whatever. I was rolling with it at the end of the day. But the rest of the story, Jesse? I know you started this one off, so might as well finish it here. What did you think of the rest of the story and how it played out? Did you love the multiverse extravaganza?
I think so. I really do like the heroes. I like the heroes' personality. I like seeing how they react when they're in struggle. I really thought the characters were strong, but the movie did end up being kind of like a Destiny themed kind of movie where it's like what's supposed to happen is supposed to happen. And I know we even kind of talked about it in the pre-game show that the mom's probably gonna end up dying either way, and that's kind of what happened. So I felt like the storyline was kind of predictable. It was like a fun movie to watch, but I didn't think it was great. I thought Shazam 2 was great.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so like
Shazam
it
2
was
was 10 times better. But
oh,
continue.
definitely. It was a fun movie if you just kind of want to watch DC, and especially if you like The Flash, and maybe if you're there more for the characters. But yeah, I felt like the story was a little predictable. I also felt like some scenes were rushed, and I know it's The Flash, everything's fast paced, but I felt like sometimes it was still too fast paced, especially the scene where he's trying the current Barry, I guess, like he's trying to get his powers back, and like when the lightning strikes him the first time, and you're thinking for a moment like, oh, like what's happening next, and then all of a sudden you have Supergirl sweep in. I feel like they could have paused it. They could have made it a little slower, because that might have been like a little more interesting for the viewer, making them think, oh, maybe this movie's going to go this other direction where like he might not make it. Maybe the young Flash is going to have to end up taking over or something. Like I thought it would have been fun if they slowed down that scene just to add a little more roller coaster of emotion than kind of fast paced until like the mom scene at the end. So yeah, fun movie to watch, but I felt like the story was kind of rushed a little and lacking at some points.
Yeah, good points. Tracy, what do you think of this story?
I think the story at its core works really well for what they're trying to tell. And I think, yes, in the most simplistic form, Barry wants to save his mom and make sure she doesn't die and live a life where she exists. And I think that on the emotional beats, that hit really well from beginning to end. I have no issues with that. Michael Keaton, a lot of people feel he was underutilized. I did like the fact that he was a little bit more of that science forward Bruce Wayne, because we don't really see that in the other renditions of Batman with Christian Bale or Ben Affleck. That is like the Michael Keaton version. I think story-wise it was okay. I really just think with the whole Zod thing, that's where it kind of becomes an issue. But for the Flash's story, and regardless of anyone else's story, that's where it worked the most. And I think that that's where the studio was concerned that they wouldn't be able to sell a movie that's just the Flash because of all the controversy. So then they started adding all these things where at its simplest form, Ezra Miller as the Flash and Barry Allen, like that was the best stuff of the movie.
Yeah, I wonder what they did with the reshoots of this movie. Was the reshoots adding in all the Batman stuff, the Supergirl stuff, reworking the script entirely? I wonder if they changed it, at a certain point.
I'd love to see the original script. That would be fantastic.
Benny, what do you think of the story? Because you're our comic book expert here tonight. So what do you think?
So I agree with both of them. I think it was lacking in story. Like Jess said, it was kind of rushed. It felt really fast paced, given fast. But I also agree on the other end, at its core, for what it's going for, it's not completely terrible. Flash runs back in time, messes things up, has to refix it, and then fixes it. Destiny, his mom dies. At those 3 steps, boom. If that's what you're looking for, that's what you get. I was really expecting more Flashpoint because I'm a big fan of the Flashpoint movie, but I didn't get what I was hoping for. Which and sometimes it's good to not get what you're hoping for, but in this one I was looking forward to it more. So I was a little disappointed in that. So the story was not as weak as the villains, but not as strong as the heroes, in my opinion.
Nice way to say that there. All right, let's go to Huck here. Huck says, the story was fine. It's just too bad it was simply the director's take on the story already presented in the TV show. I would have preferred a fresh new story altogether. Yeah, that's a good point because it does feel a little rinse and repeat of past stuff, whether it was the TV show, whether it's going back to the Zod stuff. I mean, even, borrowing from the Flashpoint paradox, but not fully, only taking half of it, where it's, if you're going to do Flashpoint paradox, do Flashpoint paradox, give us a true adaptation, because we haven't seen that in a true live action movie yet. So that was disappointing to me. Like you were saying, Benny, we were expecting Flashpoint paradox. We got a little bit of it, little notes here and there, but not fully the Flashpoint paradox story. Oh gosh, yeah, this story to me, it was all over the place. I think they accomplished what they were trying to do with the story. It's another multiverse story, but I'm kind of multiversed out at this point. I've never loved the multiverse stories in general. It works with Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, but now we're getting so much multiverse stuff with, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which that one kind of went halfway too, right? It wasn't as mad as I thought it was going to be. Like this one, it kind of went halfway too. Wasn't as Flashpoint paradox as I thought it was going to be. So with the story they went with, it was fine, but once again, it didn't super shock me. It didn't super do anything very innovative. Like you said, Jesse, a little predictable in some areas. And I was just expecting a little bit more because you could do so much with a Flash movie that we haven't seen before. So, yeah, pretty disappointed. But did you have thoughts, Tracy?
Yeah, it's just I wanted to ask you guys because I thought this was actually hilarious in the film because you guys are talking about kind of being sick of multiverses. I thought it was honestly hilarious when Michael Keaton shows the uncooked pasta and says, "You've heard this is how it works in other movies," because the way he shaped it looks like everything we've seen in Marvel for the past 8 movies and Loki and all that stuff. The exact design where it's like one part's broken off and he's like, well, that's not how the multiverse works. I thought that was the best dig to Marvel, and I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, what'd you guys think of that part? Because I actually didn't really get it. It kind of confused me. I'm like, what are we doing with the pasta now? It was all over eating the pasta. I don't know. I was getting lost in the science of the multiverse. But,
yeah, like saying time is linear and it doesn't work like the way you've been seeing it in the Marvel films, where like it branches off like a new, completely new. What's the term I'm looking for?
Timeline.
Not scenario, but yeah, I guess timeline. Thank you. But yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get it. And so was he saying that you couldn't change things in the future of what you've done, right? In that new timeline? Something like that?
I believe so, yes. Or essentially, there are going to be certain aspects that you definitely can't change, and they're not creating new timelines. They're just affecting the future of every timeline because they're all going on at the same exact time. Like the past and the present and the future are all going on at the same time.
I'm so confused.
Yeah,
still.
yeah. It's like a fixed point. There's certain things that.
What were you?
Yeah, there's just certain things you can't change because they're bound to happen.
The theme of destiny.
That's
Yes.
Yeah. So then it
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
makes me
It'll just mess
question the
everything up.
story even more because we go through, right, whatever, 2 hour or so movie, I guess, and then nothing gets changed. So like getting Supergirl and getting Batman and going through all these, jumping through hoops and doing all this Zod battle did not make a difference at the end of the day, right? So we went through this whole long process, but once again, the mom still died, was destined to die no matter what. So now that makes me not like the story even more because like we went through this whole movie and it still didn't even matter. What's the point?
I mean, the dad didn't go to jail.
But yeah, he didn't need to go see Supergirl for that, right?
No,
or
he
Batman
didn't.
for that.
No,
No,
I
he
mean,
could've done
I
that
guess it all
before.
kind of taught him a lesson. Like, if he didn't go through all that, then maybe he would, if he didn't go through all that, he would have still been stuck in that cycle of thinking he could change it and going through all this crazy mess. But at least, the main Flash, I guess, he did learn after all that. So maybe he wouldn't have learned unless he did go through all that.
I don't know. This is too much thinking.
And
for
could I
me
just
now.
say, the tomatoes on the top shelf would not have worked. I worked at a Dollar General, and I would have noticed people moving things from the bottom shelf to the top. It just messes up the whole thing, the whole shelf systems. So that would not have worked. Just saying.
I mean, he's so fast. Maybe he went back in the computer system and changed it in there too.
And you know what? Wait.
Maybe, but then he has to go and change all the little stickers on the shelves.
And you know what? It's still in conflict with what you said, Jesse, actually, because you said he learned a lesson about not trying to change stuff, but then he does change something. He changes something with the tomatoes on the shelf to free his. So he didn't learn nothing. What are you talking? What is
There's
this?
all kind of contradictions.
No, it still changes the path.
What is this?
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest issues that people have is that he went back and did the whole tomato can thing. I feel like because everyone's a person and they sometimes think, oh, well, maybe I can get away with just like a little tiny thing. Like that's where like I felt like, oh, he thought, well, he's not actually preventing a death anymore, which is astronomical to like change time. So maybe he thought, well, if I just raise the tomato cans, it's not going to cause that much of a ripple, even though he did learn a lesson. I mean, sometimes we think like that sometimes.
Hey, you don't know. He could be really messing up somebody's dinner plans. They can't find the tomatoes down there.
Yep.
I mean, you never know. This can spiral out of control really quickly.
I have more questions to ask you later on about the very end. So that like the spoiler thing, because we're going to get into that because they're all connected with George Clooney and all that stuff. So.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
The butterfly effect.
We'll get into Flash mode right now. Movie fan 91 said Zod did good as. Oh wait, we already saw that. Craig is saying have a good vacation, Huck. Absolutely. Movie fan 91. The scenes with his mom hit hard, but were so good.
Yeah.
You know what? I felt like they didn't hit as hard for me as I wanted to. Like they were almost there, but I wasn't getting as choked up or teary-eyed as I was for like Guardians 3. I will say that. Let's see. Code Geese anime fan. I like that they used a more obscure Batman villain in the film. Yep. The bad guy that Batman was after early in the film was Alberto Falcone, one of the sons of the Carmine Falcone from A Long Halloween. See, I didn't even catch that. You caught that one, Benny?
I caught that.
I didn't catch that at all.
Yep.
So all out. Mm-hmm. Maxfield saying Andy Muschietti hinted recently that the Allen's home intruder would have been no accident, but instead of Eobard Thawne for the Flash Part 2, talk about a missed villain opportunity. Yeah. And I hate when movies try to, they're always looking forward to the sequel, right? Oh, we got to set up the sequel. We got to set up the multiverse. But you still got to make a good first movie or nobody going to go see a sequel.
Yep.
I mean, like, if you want a second movie made, you got to hit the first one out of the park. So I would not have held back with the first one in any way. Movie Fan 91 heard that there's a 4-hour cut of the movie, according to the director. Hope physical release has it. I doubt it will, because
Release the Muschietti cut.
yeah, because the visual effects going to be done anyway.
Let's get that trending.
Yes.
So if you thought the visual effects were bad now, trust me, the visual effects would not be finished on that 4-hour cut. So yeah, I want to be careful with that one. Let's see. A 4-hour Flash cut would be awesome. No, I don't think it would be awesome. People think it would. I don't think it would be. Movie Fan 91. I get what Nerdy Film Girl is saying on the multiverse. It makes sense. There you go. Scottish Geek Guy loved it. Definitely one of the best DC EU movies. See, we got fans out there. Craig saying I like the tributes to the Superman series. Scottish Geek Guy, what's your thoughts on whether the Flash follows on from the Snyder cut of Justice League or Joss Whedon cut? Oh, that this movie. I never thought about that.
It's the Snyder cut. For sure. Yes, because
Okay.
Iris West doesn't even appear, I believe, in the Joss Whedon version.
Mm.
And there's like a lot of
No,
like,
that's true. She only does.
No, you can continue. Sorry. Oh, I didn't know.
No. You're right. I was agreeing with you.
I think that the general consensus at Warner Brothers and every actor that was involved, they much preferred to be a part of the Snyderverse just because of the way they respect Zack Snyder as a filmmaker and they don't respect Joss Whedon as a filmmaker. Regardless, if you hate the Snyderverse, you hate those movies, Zack Snyder's apparently one of the nicest guys in the world to work with and to work for. So I think that's kind of like, let's keep his stuff canon instead of anything that Joss did with that nightmare of a movie.
All right. Let's get to our next question here. We got, what was your favorite scene or moment from the movie here? Benny, what was your favorite scene?
Okay, so kind of the baby scene, not for the babies because they look terrible. That the babies are terrible. It's just the way the Flash did everything and how he perceives time. I was always been a fan of those kind of fast but slow motion things, like when Quicksilver did it, when the Flash did it in previous films, Superman did it in the Justice League. I've always been a fan of those scenes. Sometimes they're overdone, but like the fact that the suit looked good doing it, how it was yellow when he was in the suit, but blue when he was out of it, and when he was eating the food for the calories, I thought that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I also really enjoyed the phasing when he phases through the walls. I thought that was a nice homage to the Flash series where he's always phasing through stuff and racing people through the walls and stuff like that. So that was a nice take. I also did enjoy when they showed some of the other multiverses come together and they showed all the different heroes from there. It was a nice cameos and Easter eggs. That was a good take.
Yeah, Ben Buster was saying for that question, the different worlds crashing together and seeing the Easter eggs in them, that was his favorite part. So that was a part I really enjoyed myself, and we'll definitely get into the cameos a little bit later on. But Tracy, what do you think? What was your favorite moment?
I don't know about you guys, but not only the grocery store moment with his mom, I mean, that I think that was honestly a perfect scene, and the directing and the editing was, I mean, it was beautiful. But I really liked the choice of when Barry's in that Chrono Bowl and he, after he does the whole, he put the tomato cans in her cart, and he starts to see his life progress with her in it after he is 10, 11, his 18th birthday. I was a mess during that. Like, that was so sad because people always, you know, I haven't lost someone that close, but I'm sure everyone knows someone that's lost a parent really early or a sibling or something. And it's like that idea of like, what if they had been there for these crucial events in my life? I just thought it was so beautiful the way that was directed, and it was very theatrical.
Oh yeah, definitely. And thank you for jogging my memory on that one. That was really cool how they
Mhm.
they cut it together and it was almost like, a montage of scenes. Yeah, that was probably the most emotional part of the movie for me too. I thought that stand out. So, Jesse, what was your favorite scene?
Like Nerdy Film Girl just mentioned, my favorite scene was the market scene,
Yep.
but at the end when adult Barry's talking to his mom, I felt like that was really, really well done. The camera shots, like the close-ups, it felt really intimate, and also like the colors, the blue hues, it really did show that like more sad emotion. And I felt like that was the only time really like during the movie where I actually felt like I could kind of breathe. It wasn't rushed. It was nice and slow, and you actually had time to kind of take it in. So I thought that one was really well done.
All right, and then let me go over Huck's response here. He says the opening was hilarious. Great start to the movie. The scene with the two Barrys and old Bruce Wayne was very entertaining, especially when young Barry thought they were
Mhm.
actually going to a cousin's dinner. That was pretty funny. Batman's fight scenes were awesome, and Barry's emotional end scene with his mom in the market was sweet but sad. See, a lot of people thought that scene stood out. For me, I like the beginning with the Ben Affleck stuff. I thought Ben Affleck was doing a great job as Batman. Would have really loved to seen a
Mhm.
standalone Batman movie from him. But just the Flash running to where he needed to get to, like running through all the nature and across. I thought that was really cool too. And then, of course, the worlds clashing and all the cameo scene. That was amazing. But that's me. All right, let's check out the comments here. Scottish Geek Guy says, my favorite part was the scene in the supermarket at the end. Legit brought a tear to my eye. See, a lot of people love that one. Movie Fan
Mhm.
91, tough one. I'd say all of Keaton's scenes, the two flashes going back and forth to Supergirl scenes, the Ulda multiverses was my fave. Movie Fan 91 says, love the supermarket scene and the montage scene. Were great. Yep. All right, next question here, because we were just talking about the worlds colliding. Favorite cameo or Easter egg reference? Benny, what was your favorite?
Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Definitely Nick Cage. I felt like he never got to get his movie, and we've only ever seen him in the suits. Like when they're like, "Hey, Nick Cage was going to be Superman." So the fact that we actually got to see him fought the spider, turned around, he had his hair. It was cool. That was probably one of my favorites. And then Clooney at the end. I was like, "Oh, I didn't expect the Clooney thing. That was a nice change of pace. It makes sense. Barry messes me up. They bring another Batman actor. So what was that? 3 Batman in there. So
Yep.
Cage and Clooney. Those are my cameos, my favorites.
I know. At that point, we should have got all the Batman in there. Come on, you could have had Val Kilmer
Hmm.
pop up just a little bit, have him in the background or something. And might as well got Christian Bale in there too at that point. Why not?
Do you
Yeah.
guys ever think like what the people that don't know that story about Nick Cage being, Superman and stuff, like what they must have thought in the theater? They must have been like, "What is this?"
I was
Why is there a giant spider monster?
No, I was confused. I had to look it up afterwards because I was like, well, he again CGI. I thought he looked like he was from a video game. So I was like, okay, was he like the voice of? So I had to look it up. Yeah, I didn't know.
Jesse, you never saw that documentary? It's so
No.
good. What
I'll
was it
have
called? Death of Superman, right? Something like that.
Something
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
think
very
so.
good. Very good. Yeah. Let's see. What does
I
Huck
just
say?
found out. Sorry, it's called "Whatever Happened to Superman Lives."
There we go.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Huck says, gotta go Christopher Reeves and Helen Slater, but I hated all the CGI look
Oh,
of
that was
all
good.
these cameos. They felt very non-real. If that was the director's choice to make everyone look like a video game, then that was a bad choice. If they just couldn't
Yep.
pull it off, well, then there's that. And also, George Clooney and Gal Gadot were the biggest surprises.
Mhm.
I thought Gal Gadot was really good actually in the small part she had, especially with the lasso of truth. That was kind of funny.
I know. I was like, did she take acting classes recently? Because she was great in this.
He's getting better. I'm telling you, all these DC characters are getting better.
Mhm.
Ezra's getting better. Gal Gadot's getting better. I mean, imagine if we stuck with that Snyderverse, we could have got some amazing, Justice League
Yep.
2 movie. There was potential there. There was potential. But so Tracy, what was your favorite cameo or Easter egg?
I was not obviously none of us expected to see this, and I was really emotionally moved with the Christopher Reeve reference. I know it looked weird. I guess everyone looked really CGI in that, but I think because of the Coliseum scene that I referenced earlier with the mom, everything kind of looked like that already. So I guess my brain had established that it kind of has this like weird theatrical surreal vibe, and I thought that was just lovely. I don't know. I would love for in a world where he would have been able to see movies being made like this now, because they did not have the technology to do anything close to that, and he was a pioneer for the role. So that was nice.
Yeah, I like that one too. And I didn't know if they were gonna put Christopher Reeves in the movie because some people debate back and forth. Should they do that since he passed away? But I thought they handled it probably the best way they could. It was very short too. It wasn't like he was acting in any way. It was just see the appearance cameo, and then we move on to the next one. So I thought they handled that part great.
A lot of people have an issue with it though. They think
Yep.
it's like disrespectful and stuff. And I don't find that at all.
Yeah, I think they used it just enough, the perfect amount. And then Jesse, did you say your favorite?
So my favorite was at the end where Flash is like, "Who the F are you?" And George Clooney walks out. That was
Yeah.
definitely my favorite because I did not expect that
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Oh, they were so good. There were so many good ones. All the ones you all said were great. Yeah, that George Clooney one was the most surprising for me because I would have never guessed in a million years they would bring back George Clooney in any way. With all the hate that Batman and Robin gets, I would not think that. So that was really cool. I'm glad they did that part. I know some people don't like that scene. They're like, oh, what does it mean? What's going to happen with it? To me, I thought it was cool. I was happy to see that. But all the characters were great. That Nick Cage one, I think, was awesome too. That was a really deep cut one. Ben Buster also says Nick Cage, but should have had a Grant Gustin from the show in there. That was a missed opportunity. Yep. How do you not have Grant Gustin in there? I would have definitely gone with a Grant Gustin at least somewhere. Maybe, and we're going to talk about post-credit scenes, but a Grant Gustin post-credit scene could have been great too. So that was a missed opportunity, but they had so many other cameos in there. They made up for it just a little bit. They even had that one Jay Garrett character, right, out of the show, one of them. That early one. That was pretty cool. So yeah, I like them all. But I've had to pick one. I don't know, it's between the Nick Cage and the George Clooney because both were very shocking. But I'll probably go with the Nick Cage one too, because Nick Cage, that was just such a deep cut for people that really knew the backstory with all that. And I wanted to see that movie. You got Tim Burton directing, Nick Cage as Superman fighting a giant machine spider monster. That would have been ridiculous, but it would have been so much fun. I would have seen that one. All right, let's take a look at these comments here. Let's see. Let's go to, yes, right here. Maxfield saying, John Schnepp, I hope would have been proud and cheering like my audience did for Nick Cage. Superman versus Giant Spider. Absolutely. Dude who loves movies. I noticed that Barry had an Inception and Mars Attacks posters up in his room, which are both directed by a Batman director. I did not.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh.
See, I need to watch this movie again because I'm sure there's a lot of other little Easter eggs in the background. Yeah. Let's see. We got Movie Fan 91 from me. It was Christopher Reeves, Helen Slater, and Adam West. But my fave was Gal being Wonder Woman for one more time. Yeah, I almost forgot about the Adam West one. That was really cool. They had Adam West in there. So they had. So they technically had what? 4 Batman in there. There you go.
Yeah.
Code G's anime fan. This is technically the second time that Nicolas Cage has played Superman because he voiced Superman in Teen Titans Go to the movies. That's also a very underrated movie as well. That's a very good one. Let's see. Dude Who Loves Movies. Great documentary. I agree. Gal Gadot is taking acting classes for the next Fast and Furious movie. I wouldn't be surprised. Movie fan 91. I really wanted more DCEU, but sadly, no. Well, you still got Aquaman 2 to look forward to. It's not over
Yeah.
yet.
Blue Beetle.
Y'all can't wait for that one.
Let's see. Code says, I never thought that George Clooney would have wanted to play Bruce Wayne again, but this time around, he only had 2 lines of dialogue, so it's probably an easy role for him. Ooh, ouch. Hey, George Clooney is a good actor, okay?
He is a good actor. Yeah, he is.
He's done a lot of great stuff. Movie fan 91. Wonder Woman 3 would have been fire. Hey, you never know.
That
Maybe
depends.
we'll get one. Yeah. Due to Love's movies, they have to get the families okay to put someone who has passed away in the movie. So I feel it's totally fine and respectful. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If the family sign off on it.
Mm-hmm.
Code says there should have been a John Wesley ship cameo. Yep, there should have been. That's another missed opportunity. Have him and Grant Gustin show up at the end. There you go. That would have been cool. Movie fan 91. No Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. Oh, well, now you're just getting too much. All right. Yeah, because the Linda Carter, she already got a cameo in Wonder Woman 84.
That's true.
Yeah.
She did. Yeah.
You know.
I forgot about that.
Code says Christian Bale has said that he won't play Batman again without Christopher Nolan's approval, so that's likely why he wasn't in the film. Yep, there you go.
Okay, so this is fascinating because Ben Affleck also got permission from Zack Snyder, just like Michael Shannon did. They both asked Zack Snyder permission to do this movie. So does that mean Christian Bale asked Christopher Nolan and he was like, no?
I wonder
Right?
if he did.
I mean, I can't. That makes so much sense. If Nolan said hell no to this, that's wild.
Yeah, I could see Nolan doing that. Just no.
Yeah.
Get away with that. No. Movie fan 91 was hoping for a Back to the Future reference in the film and got it at least twice. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, our next question here. So we were talking just a little bit about the post-credit scene here. So what did we think of this post-credit scene? I don't know. I guess some people considered it 2 scenes with the credits rolling. I don't know if you all considered that a scene with the dog, but some people did. But Betty, what did you think of the post-credit scene or scenes here?
I'm going to go with the Aquaman one. I feel like it leaves you a little hopeful that Momoa is coming back as Aquaman. Or it could just be, hey, we threw everybody else in the movie. Let's throw him in the movie too. So I didn't mind it. There could have been a better post-credit scene, like a reverse Flash, going in Barry's house when he was a kid type of thing. But for what we got, it wasn't bad.
All right. Jesse, what do you think?
I mean, I really like Jason Momoa as Aquaman, so it was cool to see him again. I just don't know if there is any tie-in. I feel like there's not a tie-in with the new Aquaman movie, but I don't know. There might be, there might not be. I kind of didn't know, like Betty mentioned, if he was just kind of added in because they've added in other people from the DC universe. I mean, it was nice seeing him, though.
And then, Tracy, what do you think?
Well, I would love to hear both of your all 3 of your opinions on this, because what I got from that is there's 2 camps on this. When we see Barry talking to Aquaman, I thought he was back in his original universe and he's just chilling with Aquaman, being like, dude, like, I can't believe all this stuff happened and blah, 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 blah. But a lot of people feel it's him talking to Arthur Curry, Aquaman, in the George Clooney verse. And so he never got out of that one for the post-credit scene. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, well, to me, I thought it is the present current universe, and the only slight difference is George Clooney. So isn't everything else the same? Like the tomatoes only changed who is Batman now. So instead of Ben Affleck Batman, we have George Clooney Batman, but the rest of the characters like Aquaman, Wonder Woman, they're all the same, right? I mean, I guess they could make small changes. See, I told you, these tomatoes mess things up, people. I'm telling you. That's what ruined dinners, and then everything changes. I'm telling you. So
Is
that's
it a
how I
commentary on
took it.
Rotten Tomatoes, maybe? The tomatoes just mess everything up.
Yep, there you go.
That could be it.
I was so disappointed with these post-credit scenes. I thought they were awful. I mean, the dog one through the credits, that's just for fun, fine. But that last one with Aquaman, I'm like, what is going on right now? It was literally just for a cheap gag, just a little joke. But I didn't even think it was that funny. Some people thought it was. I was like, oh, it's okay, nothing great. They could have done something way better. Once again, we just talked about could have had Grant Gustin shown up. That would have been a big moment. Or give us something actually like, going back to, showing us what happened with the mom, right? Hey, maybe they do show a Flash villain with the Reverse Flash, showing how that played out. That would have been really cool. Or, give us some indication of another Flash villain out there. Something a little bit more exciting than Aquaman just falling in a puddle saying, I'm home now. Yeah, I'm in the water. I don't know. To me, it just was like, okay, that's the note we're ending on. Like, I mean, even, I guess, putting the George Clooney part as a post-credit scene might have been better, because that would have been a little bit more of a satisfying surprise. To me, the Aquaman thing was just like, whatever. But I guess they're trying to just promote the Aquaman movie now, so having people remember, hey, DCEU is still going on. Don't forget, we got an Aquaman movie coming up. You got to be prepared for that. That's my guess why they would end with an Aquaman scene. That's my only thought on that. I don't think they would have done anything else besides they wanted to promote the next movie. So
I think it's the best example to show that the studios still have no idea what they're doing moving forward. And I think it was the most vague way to go about everything. And we were told we were getting answers and we didn't get any. And I think they're still making a lot of decisions that have not been discussed. So that's what we got. And it was like, who cares about this, And you're right, Mike. It was like reminding people that Aquaman's coming out and that's about it, because that's all they can tell us,
Yep.
Oh, gosh. The DC is such a mess. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's look at these comments and we'll get to the next question here. Let's see. Dude Who Loves Movies. I did see that if Michael Keaton passed on returning, then WB was going to throw whatever amount of money to get Christian Bale. Wait, did I read that correctly? I did see that. Oh, if Michael Keaton passed on returning, then Warner Brother was going to. Oh, so if they didn't get Michael Keaton, they would have really pushed for Christian Bale and throw more money at a Christian Bale. Okay, I did not realize that. Okay.
That's interesting, because I know Andy Muschietti and his wife said if Michael Keaton didn't sign on, they wouldn't have made the movie. I'm sure that's being hyperbolic on their end. So, but I think this is reads even more that Christopher Nolan told Christian Bale he can't be in the movie. They couldn't get him for a cameo, That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. As I think about it more, I'm like, is having Michael Keaton the best thing in the movie? I'm like, if we're going to do it, then we should go all out with all the Batman. But if we only have a few Batman in there, I'm like, should we have just done a standalone Flash story? This almost seems like it would be maybe a sequel in the Flash movies, because we really didn't get a strong, like, standalone origin Flash movie, right? We didn't get much of a Flash origin story here, just a little bit. I don't know. The more I think about this movie, the more I'm disappointed with it and would have gone a different direction. Let's see. Dude Who Loves Movies says that was a rumor I heard back when they were trying to get Keaton. Let's see. Movie Fan 91 says Aquaman scene was hilarious. See, Movie Fan 91 loved this movie. Darvin did not love this movie. See, we got the opposite sides there. And then I feel like we're all kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Code said Michael Keaton was originally in Aquaman 2. Then he was replaced by Ben Affleck. At this point, I don't know if either of them will be in the final cut. Yeah, they keep rechanging these movies.
Wow.
But they did that with The Flash, too. They did reshoots. They cut things out. They added things. It's like, just stick with the plan. Stick with the plan. Come on, people. It's all part of the plan. There's no plan right now. Let's see. Dude Who Loves Movies says, I think the whole universe is mixed now, and that's how they can recast who they want moving forward.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way they're keeping it, though, because you have George Clooney as Batman. Because if you keep it now, then how do you explain George Clooney? Are you going to have George Clooney as your Batman? No. So
people are like, George Clooney, Brave and the Bold. Are we doing this? Like,
oh my god, that would be kind of amazing in a way. I almost kind of like that idea. Might as well go for it at this point. Let's see. Maxwell
Mhm.
says the fact that they were not getting Keaton in the Batgirl movie either, it hurt so bad. Michael used Flynn. I totally said that wrong. Just said he would have produced Batman Beyond, but Flash underperformed. It did.
Mm.
Dude who loves
Mhm.
movies, watching Michael Keaton return as Batman is something I appreciate so much. Yeah, I think we all appreciated it to some level for sure, but was it the right thing for the movie? Was everybody a fan of Michael Keaton out there, right? Was the general audience a fan enough to go see the movie just for Michael Keaton? Well, once we get to the box office, we will know. The answer was no. Let's see. Code says Sony and WB keep ripping off Keaton fans. First, Sony cut out most of Keaton's scenes from Morbius. Oh, yeah, Morbin time. Yeah, we definitely want to go back to that.
Mhm.
And then WB cut out his Aquaman 2 scenes and rejected back. I really wanted to see that Batgirl movie. That was really
Yeah.
sad. Yeah. Duty
Mhm.
loves movies. George Clooney was just a fun cameo, and they won't move forward with him, but I honestly wouldn't mind. Well, yeah, if they don't move forward with him, then that means that this whole universe is done. Because, I mean, that's what they
Yeah.
set up, unless they go back in
Mhm.
time again and erase it again, move some more tomatoes around, and we get a whole,
Oh
then that'd be-
no! Then it really would have felt like, what was the point of that whole movie?
I'm telling you, the more
Yep.
you peel back this movie, the more you realize, like, what? Because George Clooney isn't a Batman fan, and he has made fun of his Batman film for over 20 years. I highly doubt he will play the role again.
Well, he's a dad
Well,
now, and now he has he has to pay for his child, so maybe that
Yeah.
changed things.
Yep, money definitely changes stuff for sure.
Yep.
Due to love movies, I think The Flash came out way too soon after the Spider. Yeah, that was kind of weird having two multiverse movies
Mm.
2 weeks apart. Yeah, that definitely might explain some of the box office. But let's get to our next question here. Did this movie meet your expectations? Benny, did it meet your expectations?
It did not. I was going in expecting a little more Flashpoint, but it kind of did not hit what I was hoping for. Like I said, it wasn't a terrible movie. It just wasn't all that great. Am I going to watch it again? Yeah, most likely. Am I going to watch it again in theaters? Probably not. So, no. To answer the question, it didn't.
Oh gosh. Oh, and I have to read Huck's answer here to the last question because I totally forgot to read it. With the post-credit scene one, he says the first with just the dog was funny, but the second one with a drunk Aquaman was neither funny nor cool. It served no real purpose. You want to feel great when it's all over, and that left you going on, what the heck was that? So yes, that was pretty funny. I had to mention that. So sorry, Benny, it did not meet your expectations. Tracy, did it meet your
No.
expectations?
I would say yes, but I have to say that I don't disagree with what Benny's saying, because people that wanted the Flashpoint film and storyline, they're very disappointed because they thought that's what they were getting. I went in with no expectations as far as the plot, so I think that's why I had a better time with it than others did. And I do think in like 5 or 10 years after like people have calmed down on the hype, I do think people are going to look back on it and say it's a solid movie.
All right, Jesse, did it meet your expectations?
No, just because I feel like a lot of the big scenes we did see in the trailers, so I don't know if it was kind of like, all the marketing they did maybe wasn't so great, because I felt a lot of the movie was in the trailers, and I was really hoping for like a bigger moment, and I felt like I didn't get that bigger moment I was hoping for.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. So it definitely did not meet my expectations. I was expecting a lot more. I wanted a great Flash movie. I'm a big Flash fan, and it just turned out good. It was good. Solid movie. I enjoyed my time, had fun moments, had a few little, cameo surprises in there that I did appreciate. But once again, we could have had a great Flash story because everything was there. Just work off the comics, work off Flashpoint Paradox. We had the potential, but it is what it is. So it could have been a lot worse, but it's actually probably my fourth favorite superhero movie of the year now. I like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I liked Shazam 2. I liked Across the Spider-Verse. So then this one would be number 4 for me. Definitely like an easy number 4. Not even close with Across the Spider-Verse for me. How would you guys kind of rank those superhero movies for you? Is The Flash at the bottom of your all list too?
I
Yeah,
will
probably.
say I got a lot of hate for sticking up for Shazam 2, like a lot. And
I feel you on that one, Tracy. That was me too.
but I think that this movie was better than Shazam 2. I will say that.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
good. So then you
Yeah.
quite like this one. That's good.
Oh, I love Shazam too.
I love Shazam too. I'm like, Shazam 2 was so good. Let's see. All right, let's go back to the comments here. Let's see. Dude who loves movies says, I honestly think George Clooney doesn't like his Batman because nobody likes his Batman. And when people are in something that fails, then the actors involved usually don't turn on it. What? Oh, gosh. Not a George Clooney fan, I see, dude. Let's see. Movie fan 91. Yes, and exceeded them at certain points. But just to clarify, I love Marvel slightly more. Both are great, though. Let's see. We got Dude Who Loves Movies saying I agreed with Tracy 100%. See, there you go. Tiana Loves Movies saying, hey, everyone. Hey, Tiana. Yep, everybody saying hello to Tiana. Code saying, I have been waiting for this film for approximately 3.5 years. So I hope it lives up to my expectations. Code, you have not seen the movie yet? And you are in the post-game show.
You should not be watching this.
You do not care about the spoilers.
Oh my god.
We are happy you are joining us for this one. So
Ignore everything you heard.
Just go back in time.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep, rewind it. Just don't move the tomatoes.
I mean, there are people though that don't care about spoilers. I have met those people in my
psychopath.
life. So, but me, I definitely do care about spoilers myself. But Tiana Loves Movies says I'm gonna see The Flash this weekend, but Tiana's
No.
here too.
Tiana.
So you know. Let's see. Yeah, if you're just joining now, letting you know this is a post-game discussion. So spoilers here. Fair warning, Tiana. This is a spoiler discussion.
God.
Don't know what you've heard so far, but just letting you know. Movie fan 91, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and this are my fave superhero films so far, but haven't seen Shazam 2 yet. Gotta see Shazam 2, I'm telling you. Due to love movies, I actually am a fan of George Clooney as Batman. Laugh out loud, maybe the only one. I thought he was a decent Batman. I didn't have major issues with him, so.
He was never the problem. It was the writing in the movie that was the problem. You know, like he's not the issue. You know.
Code saying I seeked out as many spoilers as I could because I couldn't wait. Well, there you go.
Oh my god!
Well, I'm glad I can help with that. You definitely got a lot of them here, so there you go. You know the whole movie. Tiana says, "Laugh aloud." I'm just coming to say, hey. Well, thank you, Tiana. Appreciate that. Let's see. Code says, I do think that George Clooney is at least a better Batman than Robert Pattinson. Ooh, is that a spicy take? Who knows?
Kind of, yeah. They're different age. Like it's a different age, and yeah. Pattinson's the young angsty one. You know what I mean? So before he learns his maturity, you know. So I like them in both different worlds.
All right, let's get to question 9. The most important question here, of course. What do we think of the domestic box office opening weekend results? About 55 million. What do you all think of this one? Tracy, I feel like you got something to say on this one.
I think that it's very clear because I've seen it all over the internet and online that people just did not want to support anything that had to do with Ezra Miller. I understand cancel culture is a very complicated topic to discuss, but I do think someone like that had, you know, severe mental, like almost a psychotic breakdown, and was mentally ill during the things he was doing. I'm not saying that anything he did was right because they were crazy, but I think like we have to also put that into consideration because there have been actors in Hollywood that have been canceled over stuff that was not during a mental breakdown or any type of psychotic behavior. So I really do think that people did not want to support Ezra Miller at all when it came to this.
All right. And Benny, what do you think?
I think that definitely played a big factor into it. Like, I don't get me wrong. I think people should have went and supported the movie more rather than their opinions of Ezra. But I think the fact that everything he did just kind of helped bomb the movie. I wanted the movie to be successful because I like the Flash in general, so I thought it should have been, picked up and done better. But I understand why it didn't.
And then Jesse, what do you think?
Before I had even saw the movie, when I was kind of seeing the results coming in, I thought it was slightly surprising just because so much marketing was done on it. But in the end, it does kind of seem like word of mouth is kind of the downfall, because I did see a lot on Twitter, like people purposely not watching the movie because all the other controversy. So it's kind of disappointing, but also at the same time, it makes sense when you see everything being posted on social media.
All right, let me read Huck's response here. That was a huge disappointment. As a DC fan, I was hoping for 65 to 75 million, especially since this was the first solo Flash movie ever. Some Flash fans have been waiting a long time for. I know for how much they delayed this movie, how much they did reshoots, how much money they put into this movie for it to do disastrous. I mean, there's no other ways to say this. It wasn't like, slight disappointment, slight underperformance. Disaster. 55 million for a big blockbuster superhero movie. That is just awful. Now, I think there's a lot of factors at play here. Ezra, definitely one factor. But I think also, to me, the biggest factor is Gunn announcing his whole, new release schedule movies and saying, we're going to have a whole new DC universe working on Superman Legacy, all these other projects. But then everybody's thinking, then these last movies in the current DC universe mean nothing. So why am I going to go see Shazam 2? Why am I going to go see The Flash? Why am I going to go see Aquaman 2? That made no business sense at all. If I was James Gunn, I would have your plan in place, work on it behind the scenes, but don't announce it to the public until Aquaman 2 is done. When Aquaman 2 is done, boom, announce it, go for it, have a big celebration. So I thought that is definitely a detriment to The Flash for sure. Also, just release time. We already mentioned we just had an amazing superhero movie come out a couple weeks before with Spider-Verse. The summer is a packed season for movies. We got multiple movies coming out every single weekend. So I don't think this was a good release time for The Flash. I would have gone, if it was ready, holiday season, because no movie came out holiday season besides Avatar. Put up some competition for Avatar. Either Shazam 2 could have been there, Aquaman 2, or The Flash. Throw one of those there, and I think they could have got a lot more money just with the holiday season. So terrible release schedule time. All the James Gunn, announcing way too ahead of time. The Ezra stuff. I mean, it was just like death by a million cuts on this one. And I think streaming is a big problem too, because people that want to, maybe kind of see the movie later, maybe feel, hey, I'll get the max sooner rather than later. So I'll just wait. I don't know if it's going to be great. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I'll just wait for the very short, window to get the streaming. Like, it's already announced for physical media. Like, I already placed in my 4K steelbook order of this movie, and this movie just came out. That is outrageous.
I think you nailed it, Mike, with the James Gunn lineup. The issue, I think, was James Gunn, maybe he did specify, but I watched it when he presented it live, and it felt like he did not specify that there are other DC projects going on. We all know there's another Robert Pattinson Batman movie going on. We all know they're working on Folie à Deux with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. So he could have just said, these are my specific projects. And maybe he did, but I just think people watched that and thought, well, that's what's going on now in the future. So who cares about any of these other movies? When maybe there is an open for interpretation. Like maybe there are, maybe he does, maybe in the future want to do a Supergirl movie that he's just not talking about. So I think you nailed it. And I think that was very confusing for DC fans.
Yeah, I mean, it was confusing for DC fans. Imagine confusing for the general audience out there. The general audience has no idea what's going on. And I know, the creators of the movie are probably thinking, hey, we throw in Michael Keaton. That's going to get a lot of people out there because we remember Michael Keaton so well. Well, you maybe remember Michael Keaton, the comic book fans, sure, superhero fans, but Batman came out in 1989. That was kind of a long
Yep.
time ago. So do still people have that kind of nostalgia? It's not like Spider-Man No Way Home, where all those Spider-Man movies were after the 2000s, right? Those were a lot closer. So that kind of works with having the recent cameo references. To me, I think they put too much eggs in the basket of, oh, Michael Keaton, we're going to sell this movie on Michael Keaton all over the trailers. Like, that's going to be the promotional force here. And it didn't work out for them. And then plus we got the writer's strike going on. So that limits what people can promote as well. It's a big mess across the board. Once again, I would have released it way back when there wasn't all these issues going on. So it was literally like the perfect storm for a horrible box office. And the more they waited, the more the storm got worse. Yeah, it was just All right, let's check into the chat here. Let's see. We got Movie Fan 91. Worst Batman is by far Val Kilmer. What, Movie Fan 91? I thought Val Kilmer was a great Batman. I actually thought he was a really good Bruce Wayne too. In Batman Forever, I would have liked to see more of his Bruce Wayne. Code is saying I can't agree. I think Val Kilmer was very underrated. He was handsomest Bruce Wayne. Ooh. I thought he was underrated as well. I thought he was pretty good as Bruce Wayne. Move Fan 91. It underperformed. However, we'll make it back on physical media. Just means we can all stream it quicker. So good in a way. It's not going to make its money back. No way. Physical media is such a small percentage. And we've seen how streaming has been working out for most of the studios. They're not making as much money as they earlier thought they would. So I do not think this movie even breaks budget with how much they had to put into it. Well, it was like over 200 something million just for production, not saying the marketing costs. Yeah, I don't think this movie breaks even. Dude Who Loves Movies says, when I was a kid, I hated Val Kilmer because I blamed him for Keaton not being a Batman anymore, but that was Code says, I was hoping so badly that The Flash would have had a huge opening weekend. So I was disappointed to hear how badly it's doing. Releasing it just 2 weeks after Spider-Verse was a mistake. Yep. And once again, we're talking opening weekend numbers, 55 million opening weekend. Imagine the drop off, because obviously opening weekend's the biggest amount it's going to get. What does it drop to next weekend? 10 million? 20 million? I mean,
I'm curious to see this next weekend, because there's not a lot of competition coming out. So I don't know if the drop off is going to be tremendous, but then once Indiana Jones comes out, obviously it has to make at least a decent amount this upcoming weekend. So, but I don't know what's going to happen with the word of mouth.
Yeah. And I mean, there are a good amount of movies that are out right now and that are coming out, but there might be more counter programming, I guess you could see, because I know this weekend I got 3 movies I need to see. I need to see Wes Anderson's Asteroid City. I still need to see The Blackening. I need to see No Hard Feelings. That looks very funny.
I heard that was great, by the way. No Hard Feeling. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, the trailer looks good.
Movies I need to see this weekend. Whereas if it was a less busier time, maybe there was just one new release, maybe I would go back and see Flash a second time. But with the summer schedule how it is, and we know it's not going to slow down, there's no way I'm going to get a second viewing of the Flash. And there's no way it's happening. Whereas once again, if it was released during the holiday season, a less busy time in the spring, something, maybe I would have seen it a couple times, but Dude Who Loves Movies says, my hate for Kilmer was real, but I still love Forever. Movie Fan 91, I basically grew up with Keaton's Batman, so get what it's saying, Dude Who Loves Movies. Code says, I think that the film would have done slightly better if Batman's name was in the title. Television audience know who the Flash is, but movie audiences barely know him. Yeah, that's a good point too. How much does the general audience know the Flash character? Once again, it's not Batman, it's not Superman, it's not Spider-Man, right? It's not like big name characters. But you would still think do a little bit better. I mean, it's not like we're talking, Swamp Thing here. I mean, we're talking the
Yeah.
Flash. Still an important Justice League member here. Let's see. MoveFan91 says, I agree with Mike's points. Thanks so much, MoveFan. Due to Loves Movies says, I also think the Flash would have done better if it would have came out when it was supposed to. Yep. It waited way too long. And then that's another point too. They had a lot of early showings for like critics and fans and like special like preview screenings. Like everybody saw it at CinemaCon, right? And then they had earlier screenings after that too for certain fans in certain major cities. And so it kind of lost that hypeness as we got to the wide release opening weekend. I thought that was a big problem too.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people already seen the movie. I don't think they should have done any early screenings. I would have saved it, and that way, you know, there's probably still would have been a leak here or there, but you would probably have saved a good chunk of them for when it did come out. So,
yeah, it's kind of interesting too, because I did see a lot of families Father's Day weekend go to the movies, but there was a family right next to me, and they were going to see The Little Mermaid, and that was already out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, there was family movies out. There was Little Mermaid. We had Across the Spider-Verse still, and that was getting a lot of good praise out there. So if you're choosing between superhero movies, are you choosing The Flash? Are you choosing Across the Spider-Verse? Yeah, too much competition for a movie like The Flash. Code says, I'm worried that Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2 will underperform. Mainstream audiences don't know who Blue Beetle is, so that's going to be tough to sell audiences. I agree. That's going to be even a tougher character to sell. And not only that, it's still confusing with the plan, because I've heard recently from articles and reports that James Gunn is saying Blue Beetle is a part of his new universe, which to me makes no sense. Like, so we're picking Blue Beetle, but we left out, you know, Flash and Aquaman and all those. Like, what is going on? Nobody knows what's going on. I don't even think James Gunn knows what's going on. I think James Gunn is literally just saying that to try to get people to go see Blue Beetle now. Because now he's learning, like, oh, maybe I should have said nothing because Shazam 2 did horrible. The Flash 2 did horrible. Now, James Gunn, I will say he's a great creative person, right? We love his movie projects. You know, he can definitely direct, but I don't know. I'm not sold on him as like a studio head yet, as, you know, a business head. I'm not sold on that yet. Nothing so far has shown me that he has, you know, I don't know what strong business sense strategy yet, which maybe once again, he's early on, he's new to it. So maybe we'll see it play out with his plan. But right now, I don't know, not good decisions are being made, in my opinion, at least. But what do I know? Let's see. MoveFan91, Blue Beetle looks terrible. I wasn't super sold on the trailers for Blue Beetle. I mean, of course, I'll go watch it, but I wasn't like, yay, I'm super excited.
The trailer was very bad, but I think the movie's actually going to do quite well. I think it'll probably exceed expectations slightly at the box office, just because of the Cobra Kai fan base is gigantic. I never saw the show, but my goodness, I've heard for years that show's amazing. People love that actor. I think the Latino community is going to absolutely support that movie. And I think it's going to be one of those like, oh my goodness, like this actually like definitely is going to break even and do a little bit better, especially because I think it's like the middle of August. And I think it's like kind of a good time for that to come out. And it is kind of tricky because that movie was in like pre-production before the pandemic, if I'm not correct. So that was kind of something James Gunn inherited. And again, I think that like his communication of what includes all DC movies and not just talking about his own projects is what's so confusing.
Yeah, it's all over the place. I don't know. I still think Blue Beetle's gonna underperform. And I don't know if August is the best. Is it beginning August? If it's before when most schools get back, it could maybe do a little bit better. But if school starts and it's after school starts, I think that's going to be terrible for it. Because
I think it's August 18th. I'm not positive, but August 18th rings a bell. But
I feel like that's like literally right after a lot of schools start. But I don't know. Hopefully it does. Well, is it going to do better than The Flash? You know,
it might. It's crazy. But
I will be shocked. If it does better than The Flash. But Maybe. We'll see. Code says, I think Blue Beetle looks decent. However, I'm a huge DC fan and even barely know Blue Beetle. I only know him because he's been in some cartoons. I'm right there with you. I don't have a lot of Blue Beetle knowledge.
Mhm.
I know of the character, but I haven't really dived into the character. So, Code says, I was born after the Keaton Batman movies came out, but I grew up loving him as Batman. See, so you went back to Michael Keaton then. So that's awesome. Dude Who Loves Movies says, I think I saw Blue Beetle is the first movie in the new DC world. Yeah, see, it's back and forth. Before, we didn't think it
Yeah.
was. James Gunn is now saying it is. But if it does terrible at the box office, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen. Blue Beetle will not be in that universe if it does terrible. So I don't know why James Gunn would say that, because I feel like James Gunn is setting himself up for failure, because if it does terrible and now he can't include Blue Beetle, then it's like, well, you said he was going to be included and now you're backtracking. Like I said, it's so messy and all over the place. I think James Gunn needs to slow down, take a chill pill, relax a little bit, okay, and just I think he tried to do too much too fast, just too quickly. I mean, yeah. He went all Flash mode on us. He needed to slow down, okay? He was too fast. Let's see. MoveFan91 says, so I did grow up with Keaton too. Yep, Keaton for life. Now I'm a Val Kilmer fan. Code says Flash has the potential to have a decent second weekend because no big movies come out this weekend. I mean, they're not big blockbuster movies, but I mean, they're still movies, right? MoveFan91 says Indy 5 is the only competition coming. I don't even think that's going to do well, to be honest. So I don't even know how much competition that is. Let's see. Dude Who Loves Movies says, I think people are still seeing Spider-Man and will continue to see that first. The average person or family can't see everything or multiple things. I agree.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're bringing a family out to the theater for the month. What are you choosing? Across the Spider-Verse or Flash? I think most people are going Across the Spider-Verse.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that was so bizarre to choose to go up against another superhero movie the same month. Like, why? What were they thinking? I don't know.
And they probably thought like their egos were too big and thought like, oh, well, it's just Across the Spider-Verse. But it's like, yeah, the first one didn't do that well initially, but the word of mouth over it being streaming on Netflix and winning Best Animated Film, like people fell in love with that over time. And they totally predicted a huge box office for Across the Spider-Verse. So it was bad timing on your part. And again, a family of four is spending $100 at least at the movies before even snacks. So you know, you're so right.
MovieFan91. So, but I grew up with both. Code says Aquaman is the highest grossing DC film, but there seems to be a lack of hype for the sequel. I'm looking forward to it, though. I'm looking forward to it as well. I love the first Aquaman. I thought it was really fun. But I don't think anybody else is going to see it. Dude Who Loves Movies says today is actually my birthday.
Aww,
Happy birthday, Dude Who Loves Movies.
Hey.
Happy birthday. That is awesome. I am debating tonight on going to see The Flash second time, but this time in IMAX. Is it worth seeing in IMAX? So, Tracy, you saw it in IMAX. Is it worth the IMAX?
I loved it in IMAX. I don't know what it looks like not in IMAX, so I don't know if there was a huge difference, but I loved seeing it in IMAX. So
yeah,
there's
if
a lot
I
of
were
good
to
movies
go
out there,
back
so.
a second time, I might have done an IMAX show. And I saw it Screen X, which I love Screen X. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
One. Yeah. It was cool. It was like zooming past you like, when it was
That's
running.
Regal, right? Regal Cinemas does that?
Yes, yeah, Regal.
I love that.
It's so cool. Oh my goodness. Code says, I think the Blue Beetle will easy to include in the new DC universe because it doesn't seem to be connected. Well, yeah, I mean, but a lot of things don't seem as connected. Like even Shazam wasn't super connected until they brought in Wonder Woman and all that stuff. But once again, if they don't do well at the box office, why would they connect it? So they could, but why would they at this point? All right, let's get to our last question here, which is going to be, all right, 10. Oh, once again, this is going to go back to James Gunn. So I'm going to rant on James Gunn more. So what do you think of Gunn announcing Andy Muschietti for director of Batman Brave and the Bold once again, slow down, James Gunn. Why make this announcement already before you see how the Flash does? Is this now the best choice? I'm just saying. I don't know. I mean, what do you all think on this? Tracy, what do you think on this one?
I actually have no problem with that because I don't think that the film's flaws had anything to do with his directing. And I really liked what he did with the It franchise. If we're dealing with Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne, we are going to have a darker story. And I think that he's a great director to do that. And I think he showed, I mean, the first action scene with Batman on the, I don't what is it? Batmobile. It's what would we call that thing that he was on? I'm so bad at that stuff.
Bat cycle.
The Bat
okay.
Pod. The Bat
Yeah.
Pod, right? Or that, I guess that's the Christian Bale one. I don't know.
Right, like all of that was really well done. All of the action scenes I thought were really well directed, and again, hitting those emotional beats with the actors and all their scenes. I think he's a great director, so I'm not concerned about that at all.
All right, Benny, what are you thinking?
100% agree with Tracy. It was not a director's fault for this film. It was a story plot that was a problem, and a villain plot that was a problem. So I have no problem with this guy directing it. It's a bold choice.
All right, Jesse, what are you thinking?
I mean, what Tracy and Benny said right now. The story, but the characters and seeing their acting through the struggles, I really enjoyed that, and I thought that was great. Like, that was directed well. I think this is the first movie I've seen with this director. I haven't seen it yet, or I know he also directed Mama, which I love horror movies, but I haven't gotten around to seeing those yet. So actually, I'm kind of a little excited to see what else he does. Like, maybe see more of those horror elements in the DC movies.
See, I'm not as confident as you all on this one. I think he's a good director. Like, I'm a big fan of the first, couple It movies there, both part 1 and part 2. I know a lot of people don't like part 2 as much, but I liked it a lot. He is a good director, but can he sell the movie? Can he sell Batman Brave and the Bold? Are people going to compare it back to how The Flash did, right? If there's, this hate towards the Flash movie right now, is that hate going to be there later? And are they going to make that unfair comparison? Even though it's a different movie project, there's still that connection between, same director. Is that going to play against the movie at all? Because right now, the DC needs as much help as it can get. And especially people are probably going to compare this to the Batman 2 with Matt Reeves. So how is that going to compare with one another? Is everybody just going to be hyped for the Batman 2 with Matt Reeves? Or, I mean, is this one Andy Muschietti's Batman Brave and the Bold? Is anybody going to really go see this one? I mean, I'm going to go see it, but do you guys think the general audiences are going to buy into this one with what we know so far? We got, an older Batman with Damian Wayne, not even using the first Robin, which to me, once again, makes no sense, but okay. And then, I don't know. To me, I feel like a lot of red flags with this one already, but I like your guys' optimistic hope over there. All right, let's check into the comments here, and then we'll definitely have everybody kind of close out and say what they want to the audience. Code is saying some people think that Amber Heard will hurt Aquaman 2's box office like Ezra Miller, affecting The Flash's box office. Yeah, I heard they removed most of Amber Heard's scenes. I think she's only in it for a little bit now, at least last time I heard. But now, are they going to be reactionary and remove any more? Are they going to completely take Heard out of the movie? I don't know. We'll see.
I hadn't had a huge desire to see it, but I will be excited to in that moment when she's on screen for 10 minutes. I think that's what they limited it to, just to like boo, or say one of her like catchphrases from the jury. Like I would love that. There's so many endless catchphrases.
I feel like more people watched that trial than the Flash movie.
Yes,
possibly.
Absolutely. Oh man, that was great.
Who directed that? Who directed that trial? Let's get that directed.
Yeah.
MoveFan91, IMAX is 100% worth it if you don't have a great home entertainment system. I saw it in Dolby, but still got the poster. See, that's how you do it. Get the poster still. Yeah. Dolby is great as well. Great sound systems in there and good projector. Code is saying Andy Muschietti already worked with multiple Batman actors, so he seems ready to direct whoever plays Batman next in The Brave and the Bold. Well, maybe it'll be George Clooney, like we thought. There you go. Dude loves movies. It would have been cool to see Keaton's Batmobile in action, but I understand why they didn't. You know what? I don't understand why they didn't have that Batmobile. I thought that would have been a cool moment. I mean, we got to see it, but he could have pulled up in it against Zod. I don't know. Movie Fan 91, he's going too quick and fast. Like you said, Mike, he's got to slow it down and hit the brakes. I agree. I'm telling you, James Gunn, he's trying to do too much too fast. He needs to slow it down. Slow it down, okay? Dude who loves movies. I see people getting upset at the director for shooting Batman in daylight, and he did it with both Batmans in this movie. I didn't have a problem. I like light with Batman movies. That was one of my complaints about the Pattinson one. It was too much night scenes. So I didn't have the problem with the daylight scenes at
It's
all.
realistic to have him fight crime during the day just as much as night,
Code says James Gunn is too quick to announce things in general. He has already announced so many future DC shows and film. I agree. Way too much. Way too much. Yeah, Movie Fan 91. Night to y'all, awesome people. Well, have a good night, Movie Fan 91. Code says James Gunn has confirmed that the Batman will be played by a new actor in Brave and the Bold. No, George Clooney.
Aw.
Yeah, so then there you go. The Flash movie not going to be connected at all. No. All right. So we'll give a chance to everybody to kind of close out, say whatever they want to the audience, promote their channel in any way. So what do we got upcoming here? Nerdy Film Girl, I'll start with you because I know you had a great happy hour today. So that was a lot of fun. What else you got going on?
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I'm doing that every Tuesday from 4 to 6 or 4:15. Sorry. I keep saying 4 to 6 and it's 4:15. And I bring on a second guest. I work a lot with Bone Bridger and John Automates, and I have them on my channels as well as I'll be having other guests as well. Movie reviews, my Flash review is out. I want to try to do an Asteroid City review because I would really enjoy that if time permits. And even like revisiting classics, I filmed a review of The Conversation, the 1974 film, Gene Hackman, and I really loved it, and I wanted to discuss that, so I'm going to try to get that video out as well. But yeah, you can follow me on Nerdy Film Girl and on both YouTube and Instagram. And thank you so much, by the way, for having me on for this.
Oh, absolutely. And let me go ahead and read Huck's question answer to number 10 because I totally forgot to do that. Sorry, Huck.
Yeah.
Huck says, Andy did a great job. He just can't do deep fakes or face replacement with the old FX crew. Several times even Ezra was deep faked on his own face. That was terrible. All I could assume if they wanted to change the lines for the Flash, so that was probably him still in the suit, but they did a different take. Nonetheless, I still had a really good time with this movie. I still like Shazam 2 better, but this was a good time despite many of the small families. Yeah, we got to definitely improve the visual effects for Batman Brave and the Bold. Yes. All right, let's go to Benny. What do we got going on?
Nothing really too new exciting. I'm not too much of a streamer,
The new haircut.
thank you for having me anyway. The new haircut, that is true. That's true. I went blue. So go and see Blue Beetle when that comes out. We'll have a good talk about that. I'm a fan of Blue Beetle, so I'm going to see it. And just like and subscribe if you haven't, and follow all these great people around me. They're all fantastic. Go watch The Flash. Let's bump those numbers up.
There we go. And then let me go ahead and read Ben Buster's response to the last question. Let's do it. Not happy with the route they went, as in the comics, that story arc is Damian and Dick, not Damian and Bruce. So unhappy with the Damian choice for that Robin. Jesse, what do we got going on?
Thank you again for having me. I'm still mainly playing indie horror games. So I've been playing a game called Labyrinthine. It's like a monster maze kind of game. The next game I'm going to be playing and posting soon will be Undertale. So yeah, you could follow me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter at Jessie May J. Play a lot of games. I also do some art and do some like food reviews and stuff.
And everybody's links are in the description below, audience. So definitely, once again, go ahead, visit their channels, visit their social media, give them a follow, subscribe, and watch their amazing content, because that's the best part, of course, enjoying all that work they do and just having a fun time talking some movies or whatever else they want. Some food reviews, you said, Jesse? I got to check out the food reviews sometimes. I know it's going to get me hungry, though, but
Yeah,
it's not to be like the Flash afterwards and just much fun. And then for my channel, audience, we always have videos getting posted on the daily, different physical media topics. So tomorrow is going to be my July preview video, where I run down all the hottest physical media releases for the entire month, let you know the prices, the deals going on, what weeks they come out. So a very informational video, but we have a lot of fun with it as well. And then a lot of out of the theater reactions this week. And like I said, I'm going to try to see 3 movies in one weekend. It's going to be tough, but I'm going to try to do it for you guys and do out of the theater short reactions for all of them. And then my next live stream will be Monday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so the usual time. And we're doing a top 5 Wes Anderson stream. So we're going to be ranking our favorite Wes Anderson films. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. But thank you so much again, panel, for being here tonight, talking The Flash, having a good time. And of course, thank you, audience, for joining in with all the comments, all the support. Greatly appreciate it. Now, everybody, have a great time out there. Have a good night. And once again, if you joined here tonight and you have not yet seen The Flash, go see The Flash now, okay? Go see it. Get it for box office out there, all right?